Henderson lands a crushing left foot, which sends Johansson flying. I've never seen so many punches in the middleweight championship. This in the opening round. And Kubo goes right into Clyde's face, and he's scoring heavily with him, and he's hurting the opponent.
The toughest game of all, where only the strongest survive. Down the years, gyms like the famous Kronk here in Detroit have been the breeding ground for the great champions. Men whose stirring deeds have brought untold riches for some and the love and affection of whole nations for others. On this video, we'll look at 5 men who were described as their greatest ever fight. Like marvellous Marvin Hagler, king of the middleweights, his fight with Tommy Hearns in Las Vegas was the most explosive 3 rounds in history. There's Floyd Patterson, the first man ever to regain the World Heavyweight Championship. His battles with Ingemar Johansson were brutal and final. There's George Foreman, who terrorised the heavyweight division in the early 70s. His fight with Joe Frazier in Jamaica stunned the boxing world. Britain's favourite son, Henry Cooper, nearly ended the career of the greatest of them all when it had hardly begun. Muhammad Ali gets dumped in London. And Thomas the Hitman Hearns, with 5 world titles at different weights. His light heavyweight battle with Dennis Andrews showed all of Hearns' cunning and courage. But we start in a very unboxing-like setting in Italy. Milan, to be precise, home of La Scala and AC Milan with the Hullits and Van Bastens. Living amongst them and now building a second career as an actor is one of the greatest natural middleweights the world has seen. The fierce and marvellous Marvin Hagler, and he had the marvellous added by deed poll, by the way. Hagler was born in New Jersey in 1952. His career spanned 14 years and 67 pro fights. An amazing 52 of them finished inside the distance, by the way. In the glitz and gambling halls of Las Vegas on April 15th, 1985, Hagler was to have his finest moment. The match with Tommy Hearns was billed quite simply as The Fight. You could tell Hagler was fired up by the way he came to the ring. He'd been stung by Hearns' bad mouthing him, and the bookies were undecided on the outcome of this fight.
This particular fight with Tommy Hearns, I would have to say one of the highlights of my career. And behind the fact, I give Tommy a lot of respect now after the fight, but before the fight, I didn't like him very much. And because, you know, we did a tour, we did 21 cities promoting the fight. And Tommy, very rude. He speak to me, what are you going to do to me? I'm going to knock your bald head all over the wall. You know, I mean, things like this. I says, good. That means you're going to show up. You're going to come to the fight. Good. But I give him a lot of credit because he was a very a courageous type of fighter. He wanted to take my title, and I wanted to keep my title. And I knew that this was going to be a tough fight. I trained 2.5 months. No woman, early to bed, early in the morning, running. I really sacrificed very hard for this fight.
And here's how they measured up. Of course, Hagler had always been a natural middleweight right from his amateur days. But now Hearns had built up to a good middleweight, and he'd got height and reach in his favour.
I was surprised how fast that we both started out. Because I thought Tommy would really try to box and move. But when he came at me, this is just what we have been training for. We was hoping that we can get him to stop, and so that I can be able to counterpunch with him. I think after he had hit me with a good shot, a right hand, I think when I took that shot, then I know you have nothing more. And I speak a Pac-Man, you know, it's a game where the Pac-Man eat sure. So everything you throw, I eat until I get to you. And when I get to you, then I want to destroy you.
Oh, so Hagler dives straight in there, Hagler. This is where one tries to impose the will on the other. The first bang, walking into a minefield. Oh, what a start. Not playing around with any scouting reports, these two. And it looked as though Hearns landed a right-hand punch there that caught Hagler a little balance and off guard. Oh, how can this go 12 rounds? This is unloading a lot of carefully nurtured hate, isn't it? It's a question of who takes the best punch. What an incredible start this is. The referee finally having the game there because they started shoving close in. It's going to be rough. Well, they're not trying to baffle each other with science. We thought it might be a chess match a bit in the opening round. Couldn't have been more wrong than that. John Curry, there's no way I could see a start like this.
I think this is the kind of fight Hagler wants. And if the fight continues this way, I don't look the fight to go 12 rounds. This is the kind of fight Marvin wants to be in. Good strategy by Marvin.
He wants to draw the big fellow, the long fellow, into a fight. But doing so, he's risking his chin, Hagler. He must figure he's durable enough. 9 years since everybody licked him. And he was only on the deck once with roll down, but that was definitely a slip for me anyway. Oh, I've never seen so many punches in the middleweight championship. This in the opening round. Well, Hearns has landed his best shots with that hitman right hand, and it hasn't stopped Hagler in his tracks. As though he's marked around the left eye, Hagler. Don?
Yeah, I think Hagler, that's exactly what Hagler wants him on the rope. Hagler's cut real bad over the eyes, and blood gets in his eyes. That's exactly where Hagler needs to be, right? Keep Tommy right on those ropes and pound that body.
Got Hearns pinned in his own corner. He certainly is bleeding there, Hagler. Heads are banging in. Countdown for the first round, and then maybe they'll calm down a bit. Said Hagler really climbing right on top of Hearns. What a battle. Best opening round I've seen in the championship at any weight, I think. Absolute mayhem. Well, we'll be glad to hear the round finished to get a back, and I'm sure these two were, and the stare at the end there was unreal. Well, I hope that Hagler's not too badly done. Seen a first round like that ever?
I've never seen a first round like that. I think Hagler won that first round. I have to give that first round to Hagler because he came out the aggressor, and that was the right strategy fight. He's testing Tommy's heart.
At first, I didn't believe I was bleeding, and what had happened, I don't know how. It was a freak action. It wasn't from a punch, and I still cannot see on the tape. And I know maybe by the bottom of the weave, maybe I hit his cup with my head, because I know from a punch that I got this, or maybe we bumped head. But everything was so fast that I couldn't tell what happened. And I felt as though if I can take away his right hand, he's got nothing. And Tommy, again, when I went down, he would start to go with like a bolo punch, a half uppercut and half hook with the left hook. So I had to get in tight and to block this punch. And afterwards, and to keep the pressure. So there was many strategies that I had to work in this particular fight.
Some of your opponents say the thing that fooled them completely was your reach. They never realised, because you looked fairly squat in the ring really, but your reach was exceptional for a middleweight. They thought they were enough out of distance, but you would catch them. And yet Hearns was 6'1", but you could still reach him okay.
I have very long arms from the boxing, from the extent, and as you know, sometimes that I would move in a little bit more to make my tension a little bit longer. When they think they're away, I still have them at the end. Yeah. It was good because it was a snap punch. And sometime I knock many people out just with this punch.
Round two. Hearns not used to the southpaw style, remember. The right-hand forward. He's only fought one, the Thailander Meng Sigrin. And that might be against him, but it doesn't matter what style Hagler has when he's walking in throwing punches like that.
Watch his foot. Don't hold it, don't
If he just slows down a second, it'll suit Hearns, Don. He can pot shot a little bit.
Yeah, I think Hayden starts slowing down here in the last couple of rounds. Hagler's doing the right thing by putting pressure on him and make Tommy work, because Tommy doesn't have good stamina later on in the round, in the fight. I think if I was in there fighting Hearns, I would fight the same way. And if I was Hearns, I would look to box more, not to look to try to knock him out with one punch.
He just tripped over himself there. That's the southpaw stance did that. He wasn't hurt there, Hearns. Use the ring now, get around a bit. It's the only way he can do it. He's got height and reach advantage. Hagler's nullifying that completely by standing on top of him. And he's switching stance, Don.
Yeah, he is. I think he's making Hearns extend a lot of energy, and that's good, because Hearns are tired in about the next 2 or 3 rounds real bad.
Well, I tell you, in both cases, this looks like they got a bite bullet here, isn't it? It's going to be a hard one. Yes, that's tactics all right by Hagler to make Hearns work the whole time, to really play on his stamina. No way they can keep this up for 12,
I don't think so. I think it's going to come down to the will of who's in a better condition.
And maybe old-fashioned guts right at the finish. That's what it could be.
Well, that's a fight Hagler wanted to make out of it, and Tommy's falling right into his plan. One thing you have to say about Hearns, he has took Marvin's best punch. And that can answer most of the questions that can Hearns take a punch.
Bleeding heavily again. Hagler. He won't want to be in there too long for cuts to worsen, obviously. Even though Hearns was holding there, Hagler was still managing to throw punches back. And Hearns looks as though he's floundering. What condition these fellows must be in to absorb these punches, and mostly Hearns having to take them.
I think Hearns has to get off the ropes. If he gets off the ropes, he will get stopped.
But coming right at the end of the round, it'll do Hearns a favor. And again, the stare coming from Hearns there. He's not bothered at all, it would seem, though, Don. I mean, he was really under fire there, and yet the way he looked at Hagler was, it's okay, if that's the way you want it, let's go.
I really didn't even pay attention to the pace. But everything was coming out. My combinations were coming out. My hand speed was good. My trainer was speaking me that I'm fighting a perfect fight.
Don't worry about the cut. He's got to keep pumping like that. He's got to keep pumping, understand?
I'm staying tight. I could smell what he had for dinner. That's how close I was. No, but I think we all worry with a fast pace like that, whether or not how long the fight's going to last, and you don't want to tire out. This third round was a very good round because I remember on the ropes, we going at it real hard and heavy, you know. And he feels as though that he can land one good shot and put me away. And I'm saying, you got nothing. So I put my head right on his chest and I stay close to him and I can hear him breathing. Every time that I give him a good shot, him go, you know, the grunt, you know. And so I know I got him good. Now I'm waiting for him to move away off the ropes, in which he wants to rest on the ropes. And the referee, which I thought was very bad in this particular fight, because he kept pushing me away to give Tommy Hearns more time. This is no right. This Richard Steele.
Yeah.
There's no right. So it only made me more madder. Now I want to kill Tommy. And when Tommy moved away finally, he didn't know whether I was right-handed or lefty. because I switched very good, and he didn't know which side I was on, and I caught him with a good right hand on the right-handed side, and started the motion going. And Tommy tried to run. Where you go? Crack.
Yes.
Oh yeah. And I so much. I feel so much inside, like a monster. You know, this is the way I fight. And I felt so much like a monster. I want him to get up because I'm not finished with him because he talked so much prima for the fight. So I'm not finished. And I'm in good shape. Now Goody, my corner man, has stopped the blood. So now I don't worry about that. He's picked me in the corner. Don't worry about your cut. You okay, Marvin? It's not serious because it's not over my eyes. It's in the middle of my forehead. Yeah. So the blood must come down here. I can still see Louis. I don't know what's all this commotion in the corner with the doctor. So now I know if they're playing this game, I must knock him out now. I have to knock him out. And that's just the way that it went. And when Tommy went down, I was happy. I was very happy. And then when I stood in the corner, I found myself like a monster. Because I felt for the first time, if this guy gets up, the next time when they go back, when the bell, they let him go, I'm going to kill this guy. That's just what it is in boxing. You have to have that type of instinct inside you, killer instinct you must have. Or you won't be successful. And you're trying to take something away from me. I must make sure that you come back into this fight.
Yeah.
You may go to another fight, but you don't come back in this fight.
So into the third. And the hitman has been hit a few times and he's also hit back. And Hagler really fired himself up for this fight. He always knew he was mean, moody and a bit magnificent at times, and he's proving it here. And he's making life even more awkward for Hearns by switching stance. But Hearns trying to obey Emmanuel Stewart's orders now to get boxing done.
I think he's been smart now by boxing and moving.
Funny, he keeps falling over Hagler's feet, doesn't he?
Well, Reggie, I think as a left-hander, it's very good to fight a left-hander. To grab and hold him like he's doing now to stay off the ropes.
He's also tripping over a few right hooks, by the way. Hello, what's happened here? He's taking time off for the doctor to look at Hagler. This is going to stop in the third. He said, let him go there, Dr. Romeo. It's not interfering with his side. It looks as though it's on the forehead, Don, is it?
It is, but the blood can flow in your eye, and you can blind you.
That'll only make Hagler even more angry, because he probably figures by now that he can't go 12 because of the injury. Although we're almost on the ring apron, Donald Curry and I, it is hard to see the full extent of it, but the doctor looks quite right. Oh, that's how he went with Ray Leonard when he caught him, Hearns. The feet unbuckled, and when Hagler moved in, the knockdown timekeeper in front of me, it looks like a formality in the third round. Punch to the body there. Hagler made up his mind, he's got to go all out. And Richard Steele saying, no, you're not in a position to defend yourself. 3 rounds of absolute mayhem. And it's quite obvious, really, that Hagler was easily the better puncher.
Those 2.5 rounds must go down as the most dramatic in a world title fight. Both men at their peak, but Hagler was absolutely awesome. As he says, a monster in the ring, a gentleman out of it, and a contented man who knows what he wants from life now that he's hung up the gloves.
To me, in the film industry, if I can put the same ingredients as what I've done in my boxing, the sacrifice, the devotion, the time, you know, and the patience, which is most important. Yeah. Because here in this movie industry, I find you sit and wait.
Yeah.
But what I like the best about the movie part is that you don't get punched.
Floyd Patterson is one of the nicest guys in boxing and is still as fit as a fiddle in his late 50s. He's been in with the best, Archie Moore, Sonny Liston and Muhammad Ali twice, and he's always had time for the fight fans wherever he is in the world. His record stretches an incredible 20 years from 1952 to 1972, 64 fights and 55 wins. Patterson was small by today's standards, weighing less than 14 stone, but his hand speed and footwork were lightning fast. He was the youngest man to win the title, aged 21, but after 4 successful defences, he fought the Swedish hero Ingemar Johansson. Most people thought the fight was a foregone conclusion, but they'd forgotten Ingo's bingo punch.
Well, let me put it this way. I just came off a fight 3 weeks before, and I can't remember where the fight was, but it was in another state. So I flew back from that state and went right back to camp to train for the fight with Ingemar Johansson. Never giving myself a chance to rest. So I would say there's no excuse for losing. This is no excuse for losing, but I was way overtrained.
How did that affect you immediately after? I mean, it was one of the biggest upsets in boxing history, really.
Well, to tell you the God's honest truth, I felt I had let my country down. I felt that I let someone from another country come into this country and take the title to another country. And I felt very bad. Believe it or not, I went into hiding, you know. And whenever I did go out, I'd wear a mustache and beard along with a cap or hat. And I wasn't recognized by anyone. I felt very much ashamed.
Going into round 3, it's Johansson moving out again, using that left jab, never standing still for a moment, never permitting the champion to use his powerful left hook. Johansson paused awkwardly with his left, then shoots a sharp right to the chin of Floyd Patterson. Patterson is down. He's hurt badly. Johansson goes to a neutral corner. Floyd rises after taking a 7 count, and Johansson rushes in and floors Patterson for the second time. Floyd is up at the count of 8. Let's look at those first 2 knockdowns in slow motion. Johansson gets home with that ponderous right. Floyd went down like a felled tree. Patterson never saw that punch. Referee Rudy Goldstein screamed out the count for Floyd. Now you can see how dazed Patterson is. He tries to gather himself as he rises, but then, unbelievably, starts to walk to a neutral corner thinking that he has scored the knockdown. Johansson charges at Floyd and throws a left-right combination at Patterson, knocking the champion down for a second time. Patterson's in desperate trouble. The question is whether he can last out the round. Goldstein has again picked up the count and is yelling it out. Floyd's corner is screaming for him to take a 9 count. Floyd rises and Johansson moves in for the KO. Patterson tries to fight back, but Johansson puts Floyd down for the 3rd time. Floyd rises only to be sent to the canvas again. He's up at the count of 5, but Johansson has the game champion, and he knows it. That's the 5th knockdown of this round. Only fantastic courage keeps Floyd in this fight. He refuses to stay down. Floyd is smashed to the canvas again, but he won't stay down. As Floyd rises, Johansson moves in and floors the champion for the 7th time, and the referee wisely stops the fight. It's all over. Now in slow motion, a right-left-right floors Floyd for the 6th time.
That is the hardest I have ever been hit. Now, why do I say that? Is because anytime I was knocked down, if I was not aware of going down, I was aware of getting up. But in this fight, I got hit so hard, I went down and got up. And I guess when I got up, I must have came to, because the referee was standing right in front of me saying neutral corner. So I assumed I had knocked him down. Ingomar was on my left, so I proceeded to walk to the neutral corner, and as I was walking, I happened to take the mouthpiece out. And that's when he came and knocked me down the second time. And I still didn't know that I was down, but as I was getting up, my head was like this. Right at the ring with the timekeeper was an actor, John Wayne. So I looked right in the eyes of John Wayne. I said, oh my goodness, that's John Wayne. But then I said, but how am I seeing him? Because my head was like that, and his head was like this. So I looked up and saw the referee counting. Then I got the realization that it was I that went down. I went down 5 more times before they stopped the fight.
Floyd didn't fight again for a year, but when the rematch with Johansson happened, there was a lot of apprehension in his mind.
Fear is absolutely necessary in boxing because when you have fear in your system, it does something to you. I'm faster, stronger, everything is much, I'm trying to think of a word for it, accelerated, you know. So when I did fight the second fight, I did have a lot of fear in me because of what did be the first fight. So I knew then that I was going to fight my fight. And in order to fight a fight the right way, you have to have a lot of fear. This way it accelerates your whole body. You're faster, stronger, everything is much, much better.
And yet one of the New York newspapers interviewed famous people, champions and so forth, and they were 6-2 against you, the so-called knowledgeable people that had done it all, most of them. What was your attitude to that?
I pay no attention to what people say because everything is based on what I can do and what I believe I can do. Now, going into the second fight, I didn't say I was going to win the fight. I had no guarantee that I was going to win the fight, but I did know one thing. I did know that I was going to give him a very, very tough fight, and when they did raise his hand in victory, he was going to have difficulty getting it up. That much I did know.
As round 1 gets underway, Patterson in black trunks and Johansson are both noticeably cautious. Each jabs with his left, looking for an opening. Patterson knows there's dynamite in Johansson's right. Johansson is going to try to keep Floyd under constant pressure. He feels all the advantages on his side after the way he handled Floyd 1 year ago. Patterson is taking over the role of aggressor. These tactics are far removed from the methodically cautious battle which Floyd fought 1 year ago. In that fight, for 2 rounds it was merely a question of which of the 2 fighters had the better jab. Both Floyd and Ingomar were willing to stand off 1 year ago and carefully feel each other out, using long left hands trying to find an opening. Patterson again charges in, throwing a left and a tremendous right. Johansson knows this is a different Floyd Patterson. Floyd has forgotten about the caution and is taking command. Johansson's lethal right is the weapon Floyd knows he has to be extremely wary of. Prior to the fight, Floyd said that he felt his best defense would be a sustained offensive attack, and so far he has rigidly stuck to this plan of battle. Watch Patterson move in on Johansson and throw a hard left which misses. Floyd will throw another dynamite left which Johansson evades, but Ingomar knows this is going to be a rough night. Johansson is standing off. He's trying to use that very long left jab to keep Patterson off balance. And as round 1 comes to a close, challenger Floyd Patterson has the decided edge. Patterson is attempting to do something tonight which former champions James Corbett, Bob Fitzsimmons, James Jeffries, Jack Dempsey, Max Schmeling, Joe Louis, and Jersey Joe Walcott have all attempted, but all failed to do, to regain the heavyweight championship once they had lost it. This ominous specter confronted Patterson when he entered the ring here at the Polo Grounds just 15 minutes ago. Patterson seems to be supremely confident now. He appears to be getting stronger as the fight progresses. Patterson lands a crushing left hook, which sends Johansson flying backwards into the ropes. Floyd goes to a neutral corner as Johansson gets to one knee, while the referee continues to count. Johansson gets up at the count of 9, ready to continue the action. This is the moment Floyd Patterson has been waiting for. He moves in, throwing bombs with all the power at his disposal. Lefts and rights to the body, left hooks to the jaw. Every punch intended to end the fight. His punches are being thrown with the speed of a lightweight and all the tremendous power that his 186 pounds can muster. Never has any former heavyweight champion been so close to regaining his crown. Johansson's in desperate trouble. Patterson wants to end it here and now. Floyd has waited 1 year for this moment. With a smashing left hook to the jaw, he sends Johansson down for the second time. And before the count of 2 has been told, it's apparent to every fight fan that there is a new heavyweight champion of the world. Floyd Patterson has done what every boxing expert said was virtually impossible. He has recaptured the heavyweight championship of the world and shocked the boxing kingdom in the process. Let's take a look in slow motion. Here's the first knockdown with Floyd throwing that tremendous leaping left. It lands flush on the jaw of champion Johansson. And here's that tremendous knockout punch. A devastating left hook again lands right on the point of the jaw and carries with it the conclusion of one of the great heavyweight contests of all time.
Patterson fought Johansson a third time and knocked him out again. Most boxing judges had the fastest hands of any heavyweight, including Ali, and having seen that performance, few would argue. But if he could have his career all over again, would he change anything?
I thought about all the defeats, the victories. I thought about the good times, the bad times, everything. I would not change one thing in my whole life. Simply because I've been through it all, done many, many things. And now when I look back at myself, in other words, I'm happy with myself now.
George Foreman was one of the meanest men ever to step in a ring, but out of it he's got a smile for everyone. Still active in his mid-40s, he's punched as a pro for almost a quarter of a century. His record stands in comparison with any heavyweight in history, over 70 fights, and look at the number of wins inside the distance. He's also had 10 years inactive between 1977 and 87. Looks so menacing and supremely confident, but sometimes looks can be deceptive.
Generally, when I got into the ring, I was always confident, but this time I was frightened. Because I'd seen Joe Frazier with Muhammad and seen him against Buster Mathis, the guys, even Jerry Quarry once when he was fighting. Quarry was getting the best of him, maybe third round. He went back to his corner and said, like he was happy about it. So you're going to fight Joe Frazier. What do your managers tell you? He's soft. Can't fight, he can't take a punch. All of these things it was necessary for me to hear, they couldn't tell me in seriousness. So I was really scared of Joe Frazier.
At what point did you get over being scared then? When the bell rang or?
When the referee raised my hand, I can remember this going up the stairs when it's in Jamaica, climbing up those stairs, and I had to put on this vicious look of confidence. Because Joe Frazier could see everything I was doing, and I was glad I made it into the ring before he did because my knees were shaking. Uncontrollable. So I stood after I got into the ring. I'm watching Joe Frazier, the guy who had seen knock Muhammad Ali down and ate everybody else up across the ring. And I'm thinking, man, Joe Frazier, I didn't intend for this to happen. I was hoping to fight for the title, but never against Joe Frazier. Customarily, I'd always stare every guy down before the fight. Giving the ring instructions. You look him in the eye and you don't move. And if the guy drops his eye, and I had to do it because I was accustomed to doing it. And this time I hope Joe Frazier doesn't drop his eyes because my knees were out of control this time. He would have known that I was afraid too. So going back to corner, I'm thinking, if I hit Joe Frazier, he likes it. And if I misses him, he's just going to get upset. So what do you do in those? So you just stay scared.
It's scheduled for 15 rounds here in Jamaica. Frazier, the white trunk, Foreman, the red trunk. Frazier boring in. Frazier rarely wins the first round. I'd be surprised if he won it now. Foreman a little bit tense looking. Foreman has been nailed and nailed good. Joe Frazier's best punch is his left hook. Foreman apparently not trying to keep Frazier off with that jab. Now Foreman looks a little looser. That was a tired left hook that caught Frazier. Arthur McCanty, the referee, goes between them. Foreman showing a good, smart, snappy jab and a good uppercut. Foreman having a very good round. Frazier went down. Taking the mandatory 8 count. A minute to go in the round. Frazier's in real trouble here. Frazier seems to be hurt. He's being rocked. Foreman in complete charge of the fight. Frazier fighting back gamely, but he's having trouble. There's the countdown, 20 seconds to go. Frazier down again. Frazier's wobbling around. He's taking the mandatory 8 count. The round is almost over. Foreman after him again. Frazier has never taken this kind of punishment. And it goes down at the bell. Arthur McCanty rules that no, he's taking the mandatory 8 count at the bell, but he's up. Frazier was down 3 times. Yancey Gorham is holding him there.
Jab, move the guy around. Jab, move the guy around. I had practiced that so much that once the bell started, him throwing hooks, staying real close to me, which was ideally for me. I wanted to be a boxer anyway. Seldom did I meet someone who would dare challenge me. So Joe Frazier was in my face. When I spin him, he'd come back. When I hit him, he'd come back. So this was awful comfortable for me. Accustomed. Generally, I had problem with guys who would run.
Yeah, I remember Arthur McCanty just warned you a bit for shoving, and you got a bit rough with him too, didn't you?
Yeah, well, you got to know that what you're in there to do is to box, and if you're a puncher, if a guy's coming after you with his fist, you can't knock those down. But if he's coming after you with his body, keep his body back, get your fists there, So I was having a comfortable situation at the time, and then he would fold right into my right uppercut.
Here's round 2. Foreman in complete charge up to now. Frazier and Pollard. Foreman is being warned. Frazier is being battered in Foreman's corner. Joe's about to go down. He goes down again. Joe is desperately trying to get to his feet. He's on his feet. He's taking a mandatory 8 count. 5 seconds to go in the round. Goes him down 4 times. There goes Joe down again. Joe bounces up. 5 times he's been down. Foreman at him again. It's hard to see how Frazier can last. Stops it. No. He's trying to get his man to a corner. Frazier doesn't know where he is. The fight is over. The fight is over. The winner is George Foreman.
They talk about the thrill of victory and agony of defeat. I had the thrill of victory this time, and everybody knew that the experience belonged to Jamaica. And it had happened in a country like that, so they figured, hey, we are on top, we are all over the world, and we're going to lift you up with it, and I felt proud that moment.
Foreman's punching power was incredible in this fight. He lifted Frazier off the floor in that second round with his favourite right uppercut.
It's strange because I had many a contest where I'd actually knock guys down, or I'd catch them fold up, and I threw my uppercut so hard because Dick Sattler would hold the punching bag for me to lift up on it. So on many occasions, I hit guys and lift them off their feet because the right uppercut became my favorite punch.
There can rarely have been a more savage and relentless assault in a world title fight. This was Foreman at the peak of his powers. Joe Frazier, the man who had beaten Ali, was hammered around the ring like a rag doll. And at that point, you must have felt the victory was yours for sure then.
I never felt it until the referee stopped. Because I'd seen Joe Frazier go down. I'd seen him get whipped for a few rounds. But so you never count Joe Frazier out. I never counted him out at any point of that boxing match.
Yeah, he was stripped of everything except his courage at that point, wasn't he? It was
That's
a very
right.
brave show.
Brave show. So Joe Frazier will go down in history. Probably one of the bravest fellows to ever get into the ring.
I remember, well, I'm sure, I hope you do correctly, when you said you have more respect for him as a champion now than any other champion in history, because you've been so brave in that fight. I think
That's right.
You remember saying that, do you?
Yeah,
Good.
because Joe Frazier had made lots of money at that time. Remember with the record-breaking $2.5 million for Muhammad Ali?
Yeah.
And he'd fought a couple of other guys for a lot of money. So here's a guy who had everything, nothing to really get up off the canvas for, but yet he still gave it all he had. So you had to respect
Yeah,
him.
well, you fellas around that time were all gladiators anyway, weren't you? You
Yeah,
know, there's so
believe
much
in-
competition. Money was great, but the pride was even bigger.
Pride was what we really had. We had everything we got, we earned. So we knew that once we get into that ring, we had to fight. And the people were expecting more than anything in the world, a good fight from us.
And more than 20 years on from the Frazier fight, Foreman was still doing the business at the highest level.
I was told that if 10 years after my death, I would be nominated to be on a stamp in the United States. I don't want to be on a stamp. And I was told 5 years after I retired, I can become part of the Hall of Fame. I don't want that either. I don't want to retire and die.
As far as we're concerned,
And I don't want to leave your show either.
you should be on the Hall of Fame.
More questions.
Thank you, George.
Okay.
God bless you.
Okay.
The name of Britain's Henry Cooper will go down in boxing's Hall of Fame, mainly for one fight and one sensational punch. Cooper is now into hits of a different kind. The gentler pursuit of golf has replaced boxing in his life. Like his fights, he wants to get it done in one blow. Henry had 55 pro fights, winning 40, and in the process became one of Britain's sporting heroes. The fight with Ali, or Cassius Clay as he was then, was a huge event in Britain with over 44,000 fans at Wembley Stadium, and it really charged the whole country with emotion.
Well, it was because I can remember, I mean, I used to get up at 4:45 in the morning, and I used to run when it was still dark, you know, even in the sun, it's still dark, and I used to have there was an old grandmother, she must have been the grandmother, she was doing office cleaning. She was going to Sydenham Gasworks because I was running all around where I was born, near Bellingham in them days, like for that fight. And this old girl, an old grandmother, at that time, knock that big lip, that big mouth, so shut his mouth, give him a right bottle. Because at that time, he wasn't well liked. Because this was the prediction, this was the era when he was making predictions, you know, here, falling 5 if he gives me that jive and all this, that and the other. And that used to get all up, I think, British public's noses. But afterwards, when they realised it was a gimmick, I think they took Muhammad Ali or Cassius Clay to their hearts then.
Yeah.
But in them days, it wasn't.
Exactly. The game was then the Louisville. Remember that?
Yeah.
But how about, what kind of pressure did you feel? Almost the flag of the country on your shoulders, really. It was that big, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Oh, yeah, because any big fight, you get a certain amount of nerves and you're on edge. And actually, that's a good thing because that makes sure the adrenaline flowing and all that. But no, there wasn't extra pressure. Actually, it was marvellous. The atmosphere was so marvellous when I got there, when they were all chanting, NRA, it was marvellous. You know, so it gives you a little bit of a boost.
And said, I'll beat him in 5. We'll see. A lot of people think that Cooper's big chance is to go in early with his left hook and try and nail Clay. So, 6'2.5", Cooper 6'1.5". Clay really is a fine figure. Blood on Cooper's left shoulder and Clay goes. And left hand of Cooper's is right into Clay's face, and he's scoring heavily with it, and he's hurting the American. A sensational start to this fight. And Cooper right on top with half a minute to go in the first. By the British champion.
You get a guy like Ali who was, 6'3.5". He was 6'3.5", and as you say, in his prime, 15.5 stone, and moving like a middleweight. And that's what he did. He moved like a middleweight, and that's unusual. I mean, because I never used to mind giving weight away. I mean, I was light for an heavyweight, but what I was a little bit quicker than the average heavyweight, so I didn't mind that. You had a big guy who was heavier than you and was perhaps moving faster than you. The big thing I did notice, he was a novice inside. He was so not. He never. Now Ali never knew how to be dirty. Ali never knew how to be dirty. I mean, he wasn't a dirty fighter. And inside, he was a complete amateur. Now I've roughed him up. In the first round, I had his nose bleeding, because I caught him. I'd hit him with like cuts and roughed him up inside because, you know, I had to try to take him out his stride or out his usual pattern. And I was having a fair amount of success.
The handsome Cassius Clay coming up round 3 after the shock of his life in the first round. The rain has stopped. The excitement has really started among the crowd who've seen Cooper take the fight to Clay. And these 40 or 50,000 people in Wembley are all on Henry Cooper's side. Cooper's left eye patched up now, still he hooks with that left hand. He's cut over the left eye. Henry Cooper is cut over the left eye. It looks to me like a very bad cut indeed. This is tragedy for Cooper in the third round. With only 40 seconds gone, and Cooper is very badly cut over the left eye. Clay is unmarked. That handsome place of the American Negro, completely unmarked. Cooper trying to nail him in the third if he can. There's no telling how long he's got to go, Cooper. A minute left in the third. Clay now, look at him, he's got his arms down, he's contemptuously treating Cooper, his arms are down by his hips. Just using his feet to keep away from Cooper. This is complete cheat on the part of Clay, who feels that he's got it in the bag because of that eye. Half a minute to go in the third. Clay has taken all of Cooper's punches and stood up to them. Clay hardly bothering to punch in this round now. He's just threatening and he's teasing Cooper. He's trying to make Cooper look small in the third round, and Cooper's left eye is a very sorry sight indeed. It really is. It's cut above and below.
Ali punched the sort of, he threw the sort of punches that would cut you more than perhaps some other fighters. See, Ali basically, and particularly with that left hand, was a long flicker. You watch his left hand, it was loose, bump, bump, and he flicked and dragged. And a lot of times, with me, when I was throwing that left hook, he see punches, left hooks coming, and he knocked them down. So half the time he was chopping down, and when he hit me, it stung. It went numb, if you know what I mean. I thought, Christ, I thought it was a butt, but it wasn't. What it was with the heel, the heel of the glove coming down, chopping down on that brow. Yeah. I don't think he beat me because he was a better technician. He didn't beat me because he was a better puncher. He didn't beat me because he was a better. He beat me because I had this bleeding weakness around the eyes. Yeah. Because if you'd have stopped the fight, and particularly on the first fight, to add the points up when it was stopped, I mean, I was holding my own, I was level with him, or slightly ahead.
Yeah, well, then come the fourth round, that must have put your head.
Well, that must have put me head when, see, and Jim Wicks was going to stop the fight in that round, but I was arguing with him, and it was only when the bell went, I kept saying, no, let me have another round, I can catch him up, and it was arguing because he was, and the bell went, and he had to put the gum shield in quick. I went out for that fourth round.
So you wouldn't have scored the knockdown if
where we had him down.
Well, they've worked on it. Tommy Little chasing Cooper seconds out. Sitting down the ringside is one of Clay's 11 managers, Bill Faversham, and he called out to Clay in the interval, cut out the funny business and get down to work. So the Clay people are not too happy with their man. He is certainly teasing Cooper in the third. This is not the way to go about things when you're a world heavyweight contender. And Cooper's eye already bleeding again in the fourth round. Above and below, 2 streams of blood. He's putting his left glove up there to that eye. I believe his bad luck. One looks for a sign that a left hook from Cooper can really hurt this man, but apart from the opening minute, he hasn't seemed to hurt Clay very much with his punch. He's put as many left hooks in as he can get, and Clay has put them all somewhat contemptuously. And Clay is just jabbing casually with his left hand. left hand. He only seems to be half here. His mind seems to be half away somewhere else. He's just treating Cooper almost as a plaything here. But that's the sort of chance you can take once too often. And if Henry nails him, anything might happen.
Now, when you hit a guy, the eyes tell you they register pain, joy, and everything. And when I hit them somewhere left, the eye just had a blank look and they went dead. And I knew it was a good one. Unfortunately, it was too late in the round. Too late in the round. See, and if he'd have got up, perhaps, which he was getting up at 4 or 5 or 6, whatever it was, when the bell went 5, if I could have gone to him again, I thought in my own heart, I could have caught him because I knew he was in trouble. And then he walks back to the corner like a drum, and he went that way along the ropes, and then the last 4 paces along the ropes to sit down in his seat. I mean, looking at it afterwards, you can see Angelo Dundee basically was using illegal. If you can see him break a file, these ammonia files, which we're not allowed to use in these. We're only allowed to use cold water to revive it. But you see him put it under his nose. So I mean, he was in trouble. You see him come to in the corner.
Then another blow for Cooper as Clay's glove was split, and the start of the 5th round was delayed.
And I knew something was going on. I knew I was sitting in my corner more than a minute. And I'm saying, because a fighter, you can't see anything because you've got your men all around. You've got 3 guys in front of you, so I can't see. But I'm saying, what's going on? And Jimmy said, we don't know. And I could see Jim looking, and then my brother was looking what was going on, because we knew it was more than a minute interval. But what it was, I suppose, he doctored the glove, he called the referee over. The referee had gone to the steward in charge. The steward in charge had sent someone back to the chief whip to get another pair of gloves. And what they decided to do then was to change the glove the next round, hoping that he was still going to be a little bit groggy when he came out for the next round. But that eye was so badly cut, and then he was refreshing. He hit me, I think, the first 2 or 3 punches in that round. He hit me on the eye, and it was the worst cut.
Yeah, it was cascading, wasn't it? It was awful.
I mean, it was the worst cut I'd ever. Them 2 alley fights were the worst cuts I ever had in boxing.
And I think Tommy Little will have to stop this, because Cooper's eye is really in an absolutely appalling state. It is the worst cut eye I've seen for a very, very long time indeed. I do not see how he can let this go much further.
He had a lot of respect for me, he did, because if you remember in them days, all these opponents he fought, he belittled them.
Yeah.
Before and after, he was just, I mean, he called Listen that big ugly bear, and he went around with that chain, with that big collar. Where's the ugly bear? Let me chain him. Yeah. And but he'd never ever done that to me. And I always think the greatest line, he pays me a great compliment when he says it, because I think it's a great one-liner, and he was the great one-line merchant, wasn't he, Ali? He came out and said, Cooper hit me so hard, he didn't only shake me, he shook my relations in Africa.
That's right.
I mean, and that's a damn good line. That's a great compliment to me, I think.
Thomas the Hitman Hearns is one of only 2 men to win 5 world titles at different weights. From welter through to light heavy, he's mixed it with the best. lightning fast reflexes and a hammer of a right hand. Hearn's record proves his undoubted class. Of those 55 fights, 19 were for world titles. Born in Memphis, Tennessee, but he learned his trade in Detroit in one of the toughest environments there is, the Chrome Gym. If you make it here, you make it anywhere. Hearns came here as a kid under the watchful eye of manager Emmanuel Stewart and set out on the long haul to fame.
I have to look at the Crunk Gym as being the place where it all started for me, and I'll never forget where I came from.
5 world championships is incredible, Tommy. I'm just wondering, with the hand trouble that you've had, and you also had sinus problems which must have affected your breathing and stamina.
I think that we all, in life, living, we all project problems. We all have our problems. It's a matter of being, I guess, strong enough, dealing with your problem, and putting them to the side. If they're a handicap to what you're doing, try to put your problems aside and deal with what's up in front of you.
Well, up in front of Hearns in March 1987 was the WBC light heavyweight champion Dennis Andrews from Great Britain. Hearns had moved up from 147 pounds to 175.
I was pumped up, built up to become a light heavyweight that day for that fight. I was stuffed. I was a stuffed man. And I think that my little stomach showed that I was pretty stuffed that night, because it seemed like I had to weigh in with my clothes on. I weighed in with change in my pocket. In my mind, I wanted to think that I was somewhere close to him. And when it came out that I was like a half a pound above Andrews, that made me more happier. If you feel in your heart that you can go out there and accomplish something, go out there and do it.
Andrews, to remind you, is the champion. Hearns stepping up to light heavy to try and make a bit of boxing history. Hasn't thrown that right hand yet, Tommy Hearns, has he, Terry?
It seems like it's cocked. It seems Dennis is having problems at the moment trying to match him with the... He's caught him a good punch there.
Well, he threw it there, and Andrews in the second round holds on. It was cocked, it was ready. He carries a gun, does Thomas Hearns, as part of his job as a police reservist here in Detroit. And he's thrown some big bombs here. And these are desperate moments for Andrews already in the second round. He's got to hold on here. He says Hearns hasn't got the armory to hurt him, but he's certainly finding out the hard way. But he won't back off, Andrews. But Hearns picked him there with a terrific shot. He only knows one way to fight, Terry, and that's to come forward.
I thought Dennis had chances because I doubted Hearns' power as a light heavyweight, but he's already visibly actually hurt him. He's had to hold on.
Now I think I've seen a cut on Thomas Hearns. He was badly marked up in his last fight here against the middleweight Doug DeWitt.
I think it's on his left eye.
And I think the same place he's cut. He is down the side of his left eye. What action in these first couple of rounds. Andrews on the receiving end, but he's cut Thomas Hearns, and that will encourage him. And it looks a nasty one.
It'll force Hearns now to try and go for an early finish, and it may be to Dennis's benefit, provided he can get through the early onslaught.
Hearns claiming there he was butted. The referee Isaac Herrera, 65 years old this week, will have none of it. Now Hearns, as the crowd begin to realise that he's badly marked, tries to go to work with that left hand, and there's a fresh arrogance perhaps from Andrews.
Cornermen did their work on Hearns' eye, but it was clear that he had to show some caution dealing with the power of the stronger man.
Dennis started trying to perform, so I couldn't be careless and just walk in there. I I had to take my time and make my decision of when to go in, when not to go in.
First 2 rounds I made it to Hearns because of his superior ability, Terry.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's as I expected, and I imagine Hearns will pick up the next 2 or 3 rounds as well.
Well, he's picking Dennis Andries off as we thought he might, but Dennis has come here prepared for that. He's a lovely, graceful mover, is Thomas Hearns, though, and he says he's going to move up, win this title, and then drop back down again and pick up the pieces in the middleweight division and make it an unprecedented 4 titles. That cuts open again. And Dennis, who, although he's had a very hard career, was for a large part of that career was strictly an undercard fighter, strictly an opponent. He's not marked at all. It's a tough city, this one, Terry, Detroit, and it's getting pretty tough out there too.
Yeah, well, it looks like Hearns is trying to protect the eye, and he's a bit more mobile this round as opposed to the other 2. And maybe, hopefully, it'll make him work that a little bit harder, and Dennis will be able to come on top in the later stages of the fight.
Hearns picking up the points all along. A reminder, the referee does not score. There are 3 judges here who do. From 2 Puerto Ricans and 1 from Mexico. And although Dennis is rallying and is trying to rough Thomas Hearns up, so far he's got the ground to make up. Dennis Andries from Hackney in North London, and Hearns clowning away a bit there. I think he's trying to confuse and bemuse Dennis Andries.
I'd put it down as stalling tactics myself.
Go on.
I think he's just trying to stall Dennis. Dennis is trying to put him under pressure, and Hearns is just looking for time and just trying to put him off.
Well, there came that right hand. He landed it, but a little bit, and another big right hand. And he's testing Andries' chin now. And so far, all that intensive training that our world champion has put in is standing in great stead.
Dennis was tremendously strong, especially strong for me. Coming from lower weight division all the way to light heavyweight division, he was very strong for me. If the fight would have been stopped a lot sooner, I've been very happy.
This round could be the turning point.
Mind you, he's got some round to make up. Because the Motor City Cobra has got him with a right hand. Oh, he's got him with a right, and that did hurt.
I don't think he's going to make it. No, I think he's beaten. He's in trouble.
Box on, says the referee. Now can he survive this? That was a big right. He's in desperate trouble. This has got to be the end of Dennis Andries as the world champion. Or has it? Down twice in the 6th. Trying to clear his head.
He won't survive if the ref allows it to go on. There's no way he'll survive.
Down for a 3rd time. The 3 knockdown rule does not apply. Hearns says he's won it already. Andries, what a brave man. He's up again. Box on. He's gone though. He's surely gone badly here, Andries. But what bravery. He's going to hang on and hang on. Backed away into his own corner. Hearns pouring on the punches. The crowd on their feet. Andries, how is he staying on his feet? How's he staying up there, Andries? They're both down nearly. Not a knockdown, that one, says the referee. He's bought a bit of time, I suppose, as Andries.
Well, I don't see how Dennis can possibly survive this. And, you know, he's only going to get hurt like this.
Well, it's instinct keeping him going, but there's a world title at stake. He's holding, I suppose, his corner, must be hoping he's going to make it back. Hearns senses the world title at his feet, and Andries is clinging onto him round his legs now. He's bought precious seconds. Hearns merciless, like he was against Duran. But the crowd have now been ignited. Oh, he stopped another big right hand there, has Andries. No one has ever done this to him. Only a heavyweight, David Pearce, has ever stopped him. Has ever knocked him out, I should say. And he's standing up there. How has he managed to survive that, Terry Marsh?
I don't think he has yet to survive it. He's only going to go into a lot more trouble.
Well, I'll tell you what. You've got to credit Dennis Andries for being able to go back to his stool.
Well, it was hard. It was very difficult because I didn't know where he was going to give it up or where the fight was going to go 12 rounds. My mind was just telling me just stay in there and just do whatever you have to do to be successful. I was just saying just stay focused, just be prepared.
Hearns has picked up something like $18 million, I think, from this game. Andries has still got to do his earning.
Right hand he's taken.
And Hearns is getting through again.
He put with a good right hand and also followed up with a left hook.
Big punches again. Andries, that was a slip. That was a slip, just slipped down, his feet going through the photographer's lenses almost there. No count, but it's still a very, very hard round again. Down 4 times in the 6th, Andries. And now Hearns wants to finish it here. Pouring it on again, Hearns. Big right. Andries holds on. Bravery and application goes to Andries. The class and the brutality to Hearns. But still, Andries will not go.
That night, Dennis made me fight. Dennis made me use my head to think, and that's a sign of a good fighter.
As if to say, I'm not finished yet. Gets through with a left and gets caught again with that lethal right hand. And there's another one.
It's one-way traffic all the way.
He went on his back. He somersaults when he wins the world title. He somersaulted straight back up and he's ready to go again. Jack-in-the-box stuff from Andries. 5 times he's been on the canvas, 5 times he's got up. Stopping another big right here. There could be a feeling that the referee should move in. He's in awful trouble now, Andries. Oh dear.
I think Dennis's corner should rescue him. He's got an impossible situation ahead. There's no way he's going to stop Hearns.
He's survived another one. It's a world title at stake out there. 10th round. And Hearns must be thinking, well, what is he doing getting up off his stool? They're getting behind him now. Thomas Hearns, that is. What's this say to you about Thomas Hearns, the light heavyweight, Terry?
Well, he's showing immense power. His power is only matched by Dennis's bravery, unfortunately.
That cut. But, oh, he's got him with a left there! I thought he got him with a left hand there.
He caught him with a punch, I'm quite sure of it.
Is there a count there or what? No count. I thought he got him with a good left there.
I thought I saw a left hand, unless it was wishful thinking on my part.
Andries isn't gone yet by any means. And, well, I certainly thought the referee should have looked for a count in that one. Oh, Dennis on his back. And getting a count for that, well, that's ridiculous. Oh, dearie me. He stopped him. He stopped him now. Well, pure exhaustion at the end of it. He went to the wrong corner. Look at the elation from Hearns. I suppose a merciful intervention, but Hearns has won a third world title. He rules Detroit.
I enjoy the people, the fans. I enjoy making them happy as well as make myself happy. Because I know if I'm happy with my performance, then they're happy. Because I gave them what they paid to see.
Hearns has since suffered bad damage to his right hand, but he's still in love with the game and still prepared to issue a challenge.
Now you see it like this. Before long, you'll be seeing it like this. When you see it like this means trouble. He's back to do some more damage. Wow. I like that. I like that.
With a right hand, with a right hand, with a right hand. Oh, he's got him with a right.
Patterson lands a crushing left foot, which sends Johansson flying back.
Oh, I've never seen so many punches in the middleweight championship. This in the opening round. That's what Kubo does right into Clay's face, and he's scoring heavily with him, and he's hurting the American.